Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of the Overdrive Files. It's that day of the week where we just sit back and answer some of your viewers submitted questions. And if you're new to the channel, click that subscribe button and join in on the discussion down below. Now let's get into some movie news. A couple of days ago, a new trailer for Deadpool 2 dropped, and I absolutely loved this trailer, man. I've been waiting for Deadpool 2 for, I think it's been about 2 years now since the last Deadpool movie, and you know, I just cannot wait to see this movie. I'm excited to see Cable in this movie and just see what they're gonna do as far as like comedy and just the action set pieces. And just judging from this trailer, like I love seeing Josh Brolin as Cable in this movie, or just in the trailer. He looks absolutely phenomenal. He wasn't a guy that I would have necessarily, you know, wanted to be Cable, but him seeing in the, you know, the metal arm and, you know, in makeup and having that haircut and just, he has that gravelly voice, and he's Cable to me now. Like, I'm fully accepting Josh Brolin as Cable, and I love it, and I can't wait to see him in action. But this trailer was just absolutely phenomenal. It was hilarious. I loved Deadpool just kind of playing with toys, like recreating it, and there was even like a Toy Story reference in there, like reach for the sky. I loved all that shit, but I cannot wait to see Deadpool 2. But guys, let me know what you thought of the trailer down below. It was pretty wild the way Netflix released the Cloverfield Paradox, but the new movie didn't seem to be well received. Do you think the instant hype hurt people's reaction to the movie? Do you think this is an effective way for Netflix to release movies in the future? I really do think it was a good way for Netflix to release a movie, especially with it being, you know, they showed the trailer on like during the Super Bowl, and then it's like, it's available now, go watch it. I think that's awesome. And you know, the movie wasn't so good. I'm gonna be doing a review for that. Hopefully I'll have that up in the next couple of days. But you know, it's why wouldn't Paramount have wanted to release it in theaters? And I think the reason was because that, you know, it just wasn't a good movie. And with the last Cloverfield movie, 10 Cloverfield Lane, that was a really solid like sci-fi thriller, and there was a lot of buzz behind that movie, and I think that got a lot of people to, you know, to come out and see it. Where this one, I'm not sure what the budget would have been. You know, sci-fi movies tend to be a little more expensive, but it was a, you know, you could tell it was a smaller scale sci-fi film. So maybe like, what, $50 million, we'll say. And Paramount, instead of wanting to put it out in theaters and kind of see if they would have re-earned their earnings back, you know, they decided to sell it to Netflix. And you know, it probably did well for Netflix. I don't know, but there's a reason why Paramount didn't want to, you know, hang on to it and put it out into theaters. But, you know, I think it's a good strategy for Netflix, but there's a reason why that movie was put on Netflix. So, you know, I think it's hard to see what Netflix is going to do going forward, and just the quality of Netflix original films. Just, I haven't really thought Netflix movies have been the best. Their TV stuff has been phenomenal, but their movies have been quite shitty. And, you know, I think that's kind of a similar case with the Cloverfield Paradox. What do you make of the recent rumors about Joaquin Phoenix in talks to play the Joker in the standalone Joker origin movie? Do you think he's the best possible option? If not, who else could you see doing it justice? I absolutely love the idea of having Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker in this sort of like standalone Joker origin movie. But that's the thing with that. Is this still going to be a Joker origin movie? Joaquin Phoenix, I think, is like in his 40s now. And, you know, it was talked about that Leonardo DiCaprio was going to be playing the Joker. Like, he was in talks a little while ago. And, you know, he's like in his early 40s too. So I don't know, like, it's allegedly going to be taking place in the 80s sometime, and I love that idea about it. But is this going to be a Joker origin movie? If it is, I don't know if Joaquin Phoenix is the right guy. I don't really have another person to suggest that should play the Joker right now, but I absolutely love the idea of seeing Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker in just a standalone Joker movie. But I don't know necessarily about a Joker origin movie, and I don't need to see an origin movie of the Joker. I don't know if they want to do like the Red Hood, like where he's a comedian and things like that. You know, we saw that a little bit in you know, the comics back in the day. But you know, it's like I want to see Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker, but not necessarily as an origin movie per se. Are there any old movies or TV shows that you'd like to see remade or rebooted, and any reason why? Were they too ahead of their time or just didn't have the budget or technology back then? There's a couple that I think I'd like to see be remade or rebooted eventually. You know, I'd really like to see another Terminator movie, like really done well. Like I don't want another Terminator movie that's sort of like a sequel from the original. Like I really like, you know, the first Terminator movie. That's such a solid, like hard R, like science fiction action movie. And I love that about it. And I hate that these recent Terminator sequels have just been like, they've just taken Terminator 2 and just like turned it into a garbage fire. But I would love to see like a Terminator reboot. Just keep it bare bones, like a smaller budget, and bring back those like horror elements. And I think that could be really cool. But I don't know if we're gonna see that without you know. I don't know if James Cameron's going to allow that to happen, but that's something I would really like to see. I would really love to see a modern take on Akira. You know, one of the greatest anime films of all time. That movie especially was ahead of its time, especially for just animation in general. Not even just the story aspect, but animation in general. That movie just looks so good for the time it was made in the late 80s. I would really like to see a live action version of that, but I think it's something they're working on, but I honestly don't know if we're ever going to see that. But man, I would love to see an Akira live action movie. I think that would be absolutely spectacular. One movie that I really love that I just don't think gets enough recognition, it didn't come out too long ago, but it's Minority Report. I absolutely love that movie, and I don't need to really see it be remade, but I really think that's one of Steven Spielberg's like most underrated films of all time. Not enough people talk about that movie, and I absolutely love that film. What are your thoughts on the recent news of Michael Bay directing a Lobo movie? All right, so just the other day it was being reported that Michael Bay is in talks to direct a Lobo movie for the DCEU, and you know, just when you think there's a little bit of hope for DC fans, this comes out that he's currently in talks to direct a Lobo movie for Warner Brothers for DC. And you know, like, I really want to like these DC movies, you know, in this like this DC films universe, and like this just makes me lose all hope. And you know, I was really excited, you know, when they brought Walter Hamada in. He was going to be this sort of like Kevin Feige guy for the DC films, and you know, he has a track record with the Conjuring films, which I really love. I love those Conjuring movies, you know. But like Michael Bay, what the hell are they doing? Like that's the opposite direction that the DC needs to be going. They're pretty much just going the way they were going, just diagonally down and just going further down into the goddamn ground. This is terrible news, and I don't know if it's going to happen, and I don't really know much about the Lobo character. I think he's more of like in an R-rated kind of property. I think he's pretty violent and uses language, and it's pretty outrageous stuff. But I just like, why bring Michael Bay into the DCEU? It's bullshit in my opinion. It's now time for the suggestion of the week. My suggestion for you guys this week is just a video on YouTube called TIE Fighter Short Film. And I believe it's just this one guy who did all this Star Wars animation. You know, I think it took over the course of like 4 years to complete this thing, or maybe even a little bit longer than that. But I recently mentioned this while I was live streaming on Twitch. I occasionally live stream on Twitch, so you can check me out there. I have a link down below in the description. But I would really like to see this type of like 80s anime, like animation style, really incorporated into the next Star Wars animated series. And this is just a clear example where I think it would just be so cool, and I think it would really fit. You know, I don't know if Disney and you know, Lucasfilm would ever do that, but I just think it's this animation and just this little short film just is absolutely spectacular. So I'll have a link down below in the description and check it out. Let me know what you think of this little short film. But guys, that's it for this episode of the Overdrive Files, and leave your thoughts and opinions down below in the comment section. You know, let me know what you think about Michael Bay directing a DC movie, or what your thoughts are on that Deadpool 2 trailer. Let me know down below. Guys, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rex Overdrive. I'll see you next time.